right. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever it is, wherever you are. How are you all doing today? What's up, Baki? What's up, Afro? What's up, Hayo Panda? What's up, Kin? Nikesh? Skybird? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so I'm starting 30 minutes before the actual conversation begins so that we can set a little bit of expectations for the conversation. And my mods are here, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna hear what I have to say before before things get out of hand. So yeah, it's just gonna be a nice conversation between me and the content creator, Taburo. I hope I'm saying his name right. Anyone bringing any BS in here because you disagree with his opinion will be banned. All right? Your opinions are welcome. Negativity ain't. All right? We're not doing this in here. It's just gonna be a nice, cool conversation. Feel free to ask some questions near the end. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions if you just have some actual authentic questions to ask him. We're just here as Arknights fans to have a nice, cool conversation with another Arknights creator. So please, yeah, keep it civil. Let's have fun. And let's just have a conversation with another creator. Something else I wanted to say too. Yeah, I have a list of questions that I know I want to ask him, that I have written down. I'm pretty sure more will come up. I just kind of want to get into his head. His video made you an anti-dodger. Let's not do that, man. let's not brand name these, please. Yeah, the entire purpose is for me to get into his head. I want to know what made him make the video, how he feels about aspects of the game, what he would like improved, how he would like these things improved. I kind of want to just dig deeper into some of the things that he said in the video. So this is that opportunity to do so. I told him 7 p.m., which now it is 6:33. So we have a little bit of time before then. So, yeah, I just kind of want to make sure you guys have a little bit of expectations for the conversation that's going to be had, whether you're interested, not interested, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to actually pin that. Yeah, that I was already going to do it. Accidentally almost put you in timeout. Yeah, you don't have to agree with me, with him. This is just a conversation, right? So yes, I gotcha. I almost timed Baki out. I accidentally already didn't put the song. Okay, let's just put this one on and just let this play in the background for now. But yeah, how are you guys doing? I'll talk depending on how this goes. Yeah. It's just conversation. Yeah, because some of these songs aren't on the global page yet. That's pretty much why. A debate within the mind space between Doctor. I like how you put that. I like that. Good morning here from Indonesia. Welcome. I appreciate you for being here. Let there be respectful discussion. Yeah, that's all it has to be. That's all I ask. What's up, Rain? How you doing? Cactus. I think a weak point in his video that he doesn't necessarily point out why. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that kind of pointed out in various different discussions, whether it's in my Discord and other Discords. And I kind of want to ask him those questions. Hey, neighboring country. Good morning from Malaysia. Hey. Welcome, welcome. I just want to say removing Dodge is not a solution. Hey, we can agree to disagree. If he has an actual reason why he believes so, there's going to be a place to state it. Morning, C Gang. What's up? I'm another content creator, French side of it. Interesting to have a conversation about the game. Why after the closure of the servers? There's no specific time to have conversation about a game. Like, yeah, the servers are done, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about the game. That doesn't mean we can't incite good conversation revolving around the game. I know for a fact that the devs are still looking at information around the internet. So the potential of this being seen, being out there versus no one saying anything and it not being seen at all. I think that's a good reason to have more voices outside of just Discord conversations. So that's my reason for it. And I plan on doing more stuff like this as well, both before and after and during any further tests. Yeah. And also about putting a list of changes in front of the devs. I know they're still looking. I know for a fact that they're still looking at what people are saying well after the beta is over. There's a knot in there. Not about putting a list of changes in front of devs. Well, it is kind of about putting a list of changes in front of devs. Like you're sharing your opinion, regardless of what that opinion is. I hope some Hypergryph devs watch this. I hope so too. We'll see. I'm not really a super big creator, so whether they see it or not, hey. Out of curiosity, does Endfield... Oh, I did do it. I thought the song was going to end. Actually, I want something that's more melodic while we do this. Let's babble. Is this a... Yeah, this is the chill one, right? Why is it still on this account? Hold on, chat. All right, I want... There we go. What was I saying? Totally. Shut up. There's no way. Out of curiosity, does Endfield have something like Royal Token, or I didn't see anything like that in pulls up. Okay, good point. Okay, good point. There you go. Chill. You can't say that's not chill. All right. I don't think I saw anything like that in there. Maybe Gryph Frontline. Okay, shut up, Frosty. Okay, shut up. Hey, it's very late for me, so I'll watch back in the morning. Hey, the VOD will be there for you, man. I appreciate you. Shut up, Afro. I'm still not sure which one is the best choice to implement, but I am on the side of more or less spammy action and more about this decision making in combat. That's kind of where I am too. I'm not gonna lie, I do I do really enjoy the combat system that they have currently. But there were aspects. Okay, I'm not saying that the battle system in the tech test was better. I'm saying the idea of it was better. What they could have done with it is better, in my opinion. Okay. Okay, Baki. I enjoyed the idea of what was going on in that in the previous test. I'm a huge fan of Xenoblade. All right. I saw a lot of Xenoblade influence when playing the game. I didn't want it to stay the way that it like just that battle system alone without making any changes. It was doomed. But with adding a little bit more flair to it, I truly do think that battle system could have been amazing. So with that being said, I did enjoy the battle system that was already in place. But I think both of them kind of have their pros and their cons, right? So that's where I am. I do agree a bit that having iframes are a bit too far. That makes it just a full out action game. I kind of want there to be strategic elements to it, like having iframes in the game. I wouldn't say is necessarily a bad thing if they are trying to make it an action game. Tech test feels like a running and jumping simulator. There's Shakizawa. Like I said, there's pros and cons to both. There are going to be people who play the new beta test, the one that just passed, and say that it just feels spammy. Like it's different strokes for different folks. That's like literally the best way I can put it. If you remove the dodge, then you have to make more enemies even slower than they already are. It would make me fall asleep. Not necessarily. You don't have to make enemies slower. You just have to add mechanics that would actually make sense with the current pace of the game. If you're just saying leave, just change it back to the old system as it was, then yeah. But if you're actually making a nice compromise between the two, there are mechanics. The battle system makes sense, but what that battle system would look like, I honestly just kind of don't know. I don't think anyone would know. What's up, Plus? The combat is just a small fraction of the entire game, but making sure that they nail the combat in a way that makes sense with the rest of the game is very important. And simply not voicing out what we like, don't like, whatever the case may be, kind of just eliminates your voice from the entire conversation. There is very much a possibility, regardless of what happens, that the devs end up making a battle system that people don't like. And then when the game releases, it's too late. So you want the little input that we do have to be out there. I think my take on the video is interesting because I only really cared about the part about the story and the lore and the game. All the gameplay stuff is secondary to me. I think for me, because I'm kind of becoming more and more invested in the story, I think the story will be enough to carry the game for me, period. But I do want to make sure I enjoy. I do want to make sure I enjoy as much of the game as possible. I think, hold on. I just think expecting some extreme tactical insanity or extreme difficulty might be a bit much, because I don't think it's really the top priority, since the focus is base. The combat is probably just for fun fluff. I wouldn't say fun fluff. I kind of see what you mean, but I wouldn't say fun fluff. Like, fun fluff would be like mini games. Yeah. The combat is still very important to the game. Very important to the game. That's why they actually added mechanics for the bosses. They wouldn't just like, they wouldn't put so much detail in the combat if it was just fun fluff, right? I think the current dodge shouldn't have to be perfect dodge. I still think it'd be great to add as maneuverability, not as a panic button. I think one of the things that I agreed with, someone else said this, I don't even remember who said it. I was just reading through comments and discords. I think one of the solutions could possibly be making sure that you can't just infinitely dodge, and put like limitations on it, kind of like what they used to do. I don't know if they still do this in PGR, but I think there was like 3 dodges that you could do before you just can't dodge. Like, there are things that they can do to make sure that this is not a crazy, like, just spam fest. Yeah, but now remove all quick attacks from a boss, because you have no way to quickly respond to it with a dodge. Now it's just all telegraph windups. There's already a dodge limit in infield with stamina. True. Okay, true. It does consume a bit of stamina. Grand Blue Relink is only 3 consecutive dodges. It's been so long since I played that game that I don't remember how the dodge system worked. I'm gonna be honest with you. In Relink, I blame Hypergryph, actually, that Arknights is so massive in its world that we can think of any genre that would fit Arknights. FPS, horror. I think that's kind of why people are kind of holding this to such a high. People are expecting so much from Infield. I think right now, like, regardless if you see it as a big thing or not, please. Okay, I'll answer this one. Oh yeah, why did Taburo call action game players ADHD brained in his video? I'll answer this one. Mods, watch out for stuff like this, because this is not gonna be a good conversation if they just ask questions like this. All right, so from my perspective, I think he was simply saying that it requires less attention. I'm gonna ask him simply because you asked the question, but I don't kind of see. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it, because the same reason people were complaining about there being nothing but button mashing in Zenless Zone Zero. I'm gonna put it this way. The moment that people started playing Zenless Zone Zero, they completely eliminated the depth in Zenless, and they complained about it just being button mashy. When there is depth in Zenless Zone Zero, there are reasons to learn how these characters play and what they do. But people completely don't see the point in doing that because they don't want to play the harder game modes. The same reason we see people complain about hard stuff being in the game at all. So the reason why he said that, from what I understood, because I can't speak for him, it kind of just proves his point. It kind of proves this point when people complain about mechanics like this and then complain about the game being too boring because they don't want to learn the depth in the combat system. I mean, you can even look at some of the responses to the base system. Let's completely remove combat away from this. You can look at the base system as a basis. People don't want to learn the base system. They find it boring. Why? Because it's not fast paced. It's not action oriented. It's not going to keep you attentive unless you want to optimize that base and learn how the base system works. That's what I understood when watching his video. It made sense. I don't think he very much meant it as a negative thing, but I'll ask him simply because you asked that question. I took notice of it, but let's try not to point out just negative aspects of his video, because I don't really see people paying attention to the point and why he made it. I see CN paying attention to the point why he made it. I was reading through a lot of those comments. They paid attention. What's up, King Geo? Did I miss a part of what Comey's saying? Not even major overhauls, but people barely talking about the improvements or changes compared to how hyper-focused they are in combat. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Yeah. All right, let me double check on bro. Oh, Hawk 2 isn't, Hawk to Zero is in here. What's up, bro? All right, so make sure I don't forget to allow you guys to ask questions near the end. I think that's fair to allow you guys to ask questions but please, like I said, it's pinned at the top. Constructive questions only. Don't be rude. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be pointlessly negative. I'll ask him why he made his video that way, but honestly, I think it's just a matter of paying attention to what he was trying to say. All right. What's up, Rayhan? Let me see. Actually, just tell me when you're ready. I hope I have this set up right because, bro, last time I had it double voiced at the very beginning, and that was very annoying. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. All right, to those who haven't completed IS, no, I'm not going to do that to you. I was gonna play the final. Hold on. Personally, my biggest issue with current dodge is that it's like 3 to 4 times better than having a tank in the party. Like, the only minus to using dodge is missing final strikes. Yeah, and the final strikes are very important to the entire combat system. SP, this is a very SP focused system, right? So if you don't have, what's up, Tadier? If you don't have SP, you can't perform your abilities, which leaves people to feel like the dodge is pointless or ineffective, or more of a negative than a positive. So I think that definitely was one of the aspects of the entire thing that needed work. While tanks, now that you're done with the main story, will we see side stories? I've been kind of putting it off and dodging this question because I'm not sure when I can do it, but I will try my best. That is the answer that I can give right now. I'm gonna have to do it eventually because a lot of the side stories are crucial to knowing aspects of the main story. So see, I knew that was coming. Comey. While using tanks requires, I think that's what requires you to belong on them 24/7 because enemies target only player controlled characters, not to mention that tanks can take only 1 or 2 hits from gun users like Yvonne. I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say. It's an easy fix though. Hey, feel free to throw your and oh wait, you added more. Enemy targeting also still a bit off anyway. I think the point of using ranged operators is a bit harder than melee. Yeah, because the enemies are all like literally on your ass the entire time and pushing you. Yeah, I can see that being a little hard. Your dodging is worse than infields, bro. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. By the way, do you think Arknights CC event will come to Enfield? I hope so. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm literally hoping that contingency contract comes in one way or another and they find a way to make that bitch punishing as hell. Anything is punishing for me, but I mean, I want to see some of y'all like veteran players struggle a little bit. I want to watch y'all and see you like pulling out your hair. I'm gonna pull this over here so I can see when he says something. Right now, I'm just waiting for him to respond and then we can just go ahead and get this going. Tribe 9 is a good example because even though they kind of scaled down some of the combat, they told us straight up that the combat's going to get more difficult. So prepare. Yeah, I think that I can't agree with that actually. Oh, maybe this is just less than a month review. Oh yeah, I just read that. I'd love to see the tech test combat improved. In my opinion, it didn't mix with the strategy part and the action part. That's what I'm saying. They can easily take aspects of both and just make something that actually fits both players. I don't know what that would look like, but I mean, they've already been doing things that we didn't expect, so we just have to wait and see. If they fund you a therapy session. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Hi-Oh Panda. Unless they decide to one-up and revert back to the strategy roots. Once again, I don't know what that would look like. It would just depend on what they have planned for the... See, the thing is, for all we know, and I said this before the test began, they could literally just have been testing that battle system to see what the feedback would be like. That might not have even been the final destination. We don't know. They changed so much in a year's time. So we just have to wait and see. Unless they decide to to be frank, You say it's tame, but a lot of people still can't beat Fractal. You must be talking to someone else, because I struggle with everything, so. I think the whole party being on the field just isn't utilized enough. Hold on. Isn't utilized enough. I'd like to have more interactions with our other teammates. All right, so one of the things that I kind of, oh, he just responded. 2 minutes, he said. All right, I think one thing that they could have definitely did was, and this is just once again taking from other games that I've played in the past to create something unique. Happy birthday. Can everyone in the chat say happy birthday to Baki? Happy birthday, Baki. You are a valued member of this community. I completely appreciate you being here, buddy. It's top of the hour, buddy. Okay, let me go back because I kind of lost my thought. So one thought that I had when it came to the team synergy was that there could be ways to give your units commands either before or during battle in some way. And that would be a reason to bring back the slowdown aspect of it, to where when you're like trying to aim your attacks, it like slowed down the battle system. They could also add that for the ability to issue commands. Hey, that person needs healing. Hey, focus on defending. Focus on attacking. These are very base level commands, but you get what I'm trying to say. I think experimenting with these kind of ideas would actually help them figure out what they want to do for the final version, if they haven't already figured it out. A Gambit-like system, like in yes. Oh wow, Final Fantasy 12 could actually be a good like baseline to get some ideas from, to be honest. What's up, Pixel Tree? Like, I still kind of don't know how to feel about the whole thing, because I enjoyed it, but there are things that are definitely need to be resolved. For example, in my opinion, I felt like because, and I didn't think so at the beginning, I thought so more so when I was talking to a group of people about the test. One point that they brought up was that they didn't look like I felt threatened enough during the combat, besides when I was starting the game. And I kind of agree. I didn't feel threatened enough. I completed everything within 2-3 tries. Yet Arknights is forcing me to take like 30. All right, he's ready. I'm lowering the music a little bit, and I'm going to call. Remember, guys, respectful. At the end, I'll allow you guys to ask some questions. And let me get my notes out. Let's do the damn thing.
Hello.
What's up, bud? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. First off, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the audience, because your channel, from what I've seen, is fairly small, and I'd like you to promote yourself in any way possible. We do have a fairly good amount of people in here, so if this helps out in any way, I'd like to give you that opportunity. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and pitch yourself in the best way possible.
Sure, thanks. I am Tobaruo. I primarily stream on Twitch. My primary platform is Twitch, rather. I try to stream 2 or 3 times a week, Arknights on there at 10 p.m. UK time. I am trying to pivot more into YouTube though, hence the video. If you are at all averse to the cursed nature of certain Twitch streams, I advise you to stay away though.
Yeah. So where can we find you?
Oh yeah, of course. Twitch.tv/Tobaruo.
All right, and that's TOBORUO.
Yeah, okay. The same as the YouTube.
Okay, cool. So first off, this is the first time we've ever had an actual conversation. I've just kind of threw it in your face. Hey, do you want to talk? Like, so so first off,
cool. I know who you are from. You had a conversation with Viper around the time of the technical test.
Yeah.
And so I was already trusting of your ability to do this.
All right, cool. I appreciate you being here, man, and I know this is this completely different time zone, but I appreciate you. So
kind of a social construct. It's all good.
Say it again.
Time zones are a social construct. It's all good.
Cool. That's perfect for me. All right. So first off, I want to ask you, what made you want to step into this specific type of video? Because I'm just going to go ahead and say there's been a little bit of negativity around the video, right? And people kind of want to know why you framed it that way. I don't want to speak for you because I've been doing kind of a little bit of that in other conversations. I want you to be able to speak for yourself. So your video, why was it framed the way that it was framed? People see various aspects of it as framed in a negative light, just kind of pointing fingers at other communities. Feel free to go ahead and just kind of speak your piece, and that will be that. We can just move on to the actual questions.
Sure. So when I started playing the beta, I was impressed, thoroughly impressed. I was apprehensive when in the initial tutorial scene, with the big lots of action, the next big prompt shows up for a dodge. I was like, oh, they're about to dodge. Okay, I'll give him a chance. Maybe it's fine. I kept playing the beta, and it became like even though it is great, like that, I should say that unambiguously. The beta, Arknights Endfield, is fantastic. The beta was so much fun, but it was only fun up to a point, because after a while it just became, well, what is there left? There's no strategic depth here left. Like, I'm clearing algorithmic memories with just like Li Feng and Snowshine. Li Feng can do everything. There's no, like, yeah, I can craft different team comps to take advantage of like lift and knockdown, or to do different arts reactions, all sorts of stuff. But I don't.
Hold on a second. Hold your thought, because they're actually saying that you sound too low. Let me fix this real quick.
I'm too low. Okay.
Yeah, it might be me. So just hold on.
I'll turn the sensitivity of the mic up a little bit.
All right, go ahead and say something.
Saying something.
Is that better, chat?
Is that better? Testing 1 2.
Cool. Got 1 better, 2 better, 3 better. Okay, cool.
Okay, so
better. All right. Go ahead, continue.
So after playing it for about a week, I started comparing it to the technical test, and it became apparent to me that the very first thing that I noticed that I was really missing from the technical test was the vector targeting and the bullet time slow motion. Vector
targeting meaning when you select an ability and you're able to choose where direction and everything it goes in.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
And initially my thought was, oh, they just need to bring this back and it'll be perfect. But after a little while and exploring the game a lot more, because I played like, I no-lifed the beta. I played it a lot, like the entire month. After just exploring a little more, the systems, and it's not so much the vector targeting. Like, as much as I would love to have that back, because I thought that was like sick as hell. the lock-on system kind of achieves a similar effect, even though it's not as satisfying. So I thought, okay, right, maybe that's not the issue. I tried to figure out what the issue I had with the beta was, and it was even though the difficulty of it is low now, the difficulty, this is something that can be fixed later. And so I was like, and I knew this, so I thought, why is this bothering me? And I realized it was because the game is pivoting to, on a very, have you ever heard the metaphor of boiling a frog slowly, and how it doesn't realize it's being boiled until it's already reached boiling point?
No, I've never heard that before. Actually, you're gonna have to explain that to me.
So if it's I can't remember the exact articulation of the metaphor, but essentially, if you like, it's the frog in. You put a frog in a pan of water and you bring the pot to the boil. The frog doesn't realize it's being boiled until the water has already reached boiling point. And so the frog just thinks, oh, it's just a little warmer. Oh, it's just a little warmer. And all of a sudden it's being cooked alive.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, but I thought, okay, this is what I know. This is what my issue is. The issue is that the dodge is, even though I don't like the implementation of the dodge, like it's okay as it is. It's not, like, I don't mechanically have an issue with a dodge. It's a wider symptom of the direction they're trying to take the game, which is action, pivoting into action. And I realized this is why. I realized that the action felt simple. The game felt too simple and easy, because the combat is essentially separate to the base, and also doesn't need the base, because it's too easy. And it's like I didn't need healing items. The algorithmic memories mode didn't allow healing items. I spent a long ass time trying to articulate my feelings specifically in a script, and there were many rewrites of it. Like I spent more than a month making the video. A lot of effort went into it because I wanted to articulate it properly. I wanted to. I saw a lot of praise for the game, which is deserved, because it's brilliant. But there were no dissenting opinions. It was just all glazing, and like with some minor tidbits here and there. And right. I was thinking, right, this is dangerous. If we just keep praising the game for having, for being, oh, it's better than the alpha, yada yada. It's going to lead the developers into thinking, okay, we're making the right decisions. And I want to say no. I need to voice a dissenting opinion. I have been playing Arknights for years, but nearly its whole lifespan. I've played the entire duration of the alpha and loved it. I've played the entire duration of the beta and loved most of it. And
so you played both of them to completion?
Yes, yeah.
That answered one of the questions. Okay, cool.
And yeah, both of them to their entirety. I wanted to. I felt qualified to speak on it, because there are not that many people who have played both the alpha and beta and who have seen Hypergryph's decisions over the years. And so I said, right, fuck it, I'm going all in. I'm making an entire. My channel is mostly shitpost, but I'm making the entire. I'm going all in. I need to neatly package and the articulation of what my issues are. But as I was writing it, I realized if I just yap and make a video expressing concerns, it's not going to have the impact I want it to have. And so I decided to be on stream yesterday. I described this as like a YouTube terrorism, but like I just said, right. I'm turning this video into a pipe bomb, and I'm just going to throw that into the mix. I need to spark a discussion about things. And
exactly what I thought you were doing, by the way.
Exactly, yeah. I wanted to get people talking about the substantive merit of the dodge, and not just it should have a dodge because it feels like it should have a dodge. And I wanted to get people talking about the alarming nature of the Genshin-like homogeneity of these games. those were two of the main goals that I wanted to achieve, and I think I have achieved those with flying colors, to say the least. But actually the primary goal of the video, the number one goal of the video, was a personal release of emotions. The game means a lot to me. It really does, and more than most people realize. Certainly more than most of the React Andes realize. And I wanted to, like, the whole, like, everything up to a game for everyone is a game for no one. Everything after that is a personal release of fear and anxiety for where the game is going. Like, I had, the whole flashback section of the tech test is not me saying I think the tech test is better in every single regard. It's me saying I miss that feeling of the potential that I saw in the game. I miss, seeing how what the game could be, and then now seeing Hypergryph take it in none of those directions.
I do want to. I don't care if people don't agree with me in the chat. I just want to say this. I think I conveyed it pretty fairly on Twitter, but I just want to say it here. You executed that brilliantly, because I sat there and watched that video 3 times, brought it into a conversation with a group of people just to make sure it wasn't just me. And that group of people agreed with me. It wasn't until I started going public with my opinion that I started seeing people disagree. So I think you executed your feelings on it brilliantly. This isn't glazing. This isn't, I'm very vocal when I think something is trash. So I honestly think you need to keep up the YouTube thing, because you did a great job. I also want to ask you this question just so people understand it, because I already know what the answer is. I don't even need to ask you this. What was the purpose of the going through the different comments on Discord? I already know what the answer is, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and say this.
There are a few purposes, to be entirely fair. The most obvious one is to dunk on Hoyo Brains.
Of course. It was very obvious that you did not like Hoyo games. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I don't like Hoyo games. I don't like that people see Hoyo as the default.
Ooh. Hoyo is the default.
Yeah, I play Hoyo. I play Xena Zone Zero, but I can kind of see it going the same way as the other Hoyo games. So I don't know how long it'll last. Right, all the Xena Zone Zero footage was mine.
Holy shit. Seeing Hoyo as a default. I need to quote that. Give me a second. Go ahead, keep going.
Another purpose of it was, I kept dropping sort of foreshadowing hints here and there of the Hoyoification, like the Genshinization of it. Like it started by just dropping a little hint with they changed it to cryo for some reason. Why is that? And then with the Paimon fading in and stuff, I just like foreshadowing. It's like this. I'm just building up slowly to this is, just dropping hints here and there. That are they trying to make it like Genshin? And then dropping the bomb of, oh fuck, everyone's trying to make it like Genshin.
There we go. That's what I've been trying to tell people. That it's just your interpretation of what you think people are trying to do. And I've said this about multiple games, right? From Wuthering Waves to Genshin Impact. Wuthering Waves, Tower Fantasy, it just kind of like feels like every single person that tries to give feedback on these games, and I can be victim of this too. I'm not going to say that I haven't done this, especially early on when I was like super a fan of what Genshin Impact was doing. I wanted everything to be like Genshin or feel like Genshin. Just like if we want to say shortly after Skyrim was like the big thing, everyone wanted to make a game that was like Skyrim. and have the impact like Skyrim. So I see what you mean, and I kind of feel like people don't realize what they're doing. And as a YouTuber who's been here for a few years, I've come to the realization that I don't think people realize that that's what they're doing. They're a fan of something, and they kind of just want to feel that feeling again, I guess you can say.
They have the, like, they're just speaking from personal experience. They know that they liked this thing, and so they're like, oh, there's this new thing. I think because I liked this other thing, that means I'll like it here as well. And there's no like digging deeper in that. It's very surface level. Right.
And I'm not really sure if you saw the interview. Did you read the interview from Hypergryph, Lowlight, and the CEO? Did you read through that?
Part of it. I haven't read the whole thing, but I have seen. Like, the main thing I can remember from that is them saying that the combat is secondary to the base.
Okay, so there's one.
I am thinking of the right interview, right?
I don't remember them saying that in that interview. Maybe I'm wrong. Chat can correct me, but there's a specific thing that was in the interview that this is when I knew I was making the right decision by focusing on the games that they're making. They said that they wanted to push towards unique experiences that people are craving instead of following the same thing that everyone else is doing. Not verbatim. That's not exactly what they said. I can't remember the exact wording, but having them focus on things that are very different and not just following the gacha trend and whatever's popular immediately, that told me that they're just trying to make a good game. Gacha's very, very not their first thought. And when you release the video about this feeling more Genshin-y, not saying that they're copying Genshin per se, but it's catering more towards that audience, if I understood that correctly.
Yes, right.
I kind of thought about it for a second. And the one thing that was the most important out of the things that you said was checking my... Did I delete it? In the rewriting of this, I probably deleted it. It was something along the lines of, it felt like, I might have to watch that shit again, actually, because I literally wrote it down and I don't know where the fuck I put it. It was regarding the combat system and how it felt spammy and ADHD-like. No, you didn't say it that way. Fuck. I quoted it and I don't know where I put it.
I think I know what part you're meaning. You're referring to the part where, because the dodge exists, they'll lean further into it and make a 6-star who, you know, can combo skill triggered by a dodge, and then 6-star who basic attacks don't get interrupted by the dodge, and then you have cultivated a player base of action-seeking players
Dopamine.
Who want to express their ADHD action gamer reflexes as their expression of skill.
That was the part where you won me over, because I didn't know exactly why I felt things were a little too easy in the game. I didn't harp on it because the biggest part that I felt when playing the beta was, oh my god, they have this combo skill system. I'm going to fuck around with this as much as I can and find out. Like, that was so cool, and I focused on that for the rest of the beta. But I think the problem isn't the dodge. Not the dodge entirely. I don't think removing the dodge would be a finite solution to the entire problem. I think we need to find, like,
point something out.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the point of me saying I think we should remove the dodge is not to say I think the game will be mechanically improved by removing the dodge. It was to say, have you ever heard the concept of, if you want something a certain way, ask for more than is reasonable, and then people will dial back a little bit from that to what you wanted in the first place.
Haggling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was my intention. I am not mechanically against a dodge in the game. I am against a blanket way of negating damage just because it feels like there should be one.
The big ask is a better way to put it, but yes. Okay, yeah, Hawk 20 corrected me. I was just, you're right. The big ask. I didn't know that's what it was called though. The haggling was the best way I could formulate it.
Yeah, sure. So the aim of it was to, like the aim of that was because I wanted to spark a discussion on the substantive merit, fumbling my words, substantive merit of the dodge. I went further than, I would, because if I just made the video and said, oh, I don't think the dodge is a good idea. I think maybe we should remove that invincibility frames, or I think it should be tied to certain classes. People might nod along and go, yeah, okay, that's reasonable. I can see that, and then no discussion is sparked whatsoever. Throwing the pipe bomb of remove the dodge entirely has created a much, much wider discussion about the merit of the dodge in the first place, which is my goal.
And you succeeded, because here we are. And last time I checked, that video is like at 55K. So
it's approaching 70K now, actually. And
okay, how much of those comments are actually having discussion and how much of them are toxic?
There's a mix.
Not an actual number. Not an actual number. Do you feel like you achieved your goal?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because the video is the video is now on Bilibili.
I was gonna bring that up next. I actually have it pulled up and everything.
The video is on Bilibili, and the response from the Chinese community is largely the same. They generally agree with the sentiment of the video.
Yeah, and I felt like I really did feel like you waiting was probably the smartest thing, because all the distractions were gone.
Yeah.
People talking about
wasn't intentional.
I mean, just for future reference, and this can go for many content creators if you're watching. I learned this from Unreal Dreamer, actually. If you know who he is. He decided in many situations when our channels were below, like we were doing super well going into gacha. This is when mobile gaming in general was starting to do really well. And we just happened to creep upon it at the right time. I finally got the right equipment to do that type of content, and he just stumbled across Honkai Impact 3rd. One day he asked me why I always release my videos right when they happen. And I said, it's because this is when everyone is excited. This is when everyone is going to pay attention. This is when I'm going to get the most views. And his response was, you could possibly accomplish that much later when there's less distraction and less options for people to watch.
Yeah.
And he was right every time. He would release some videos at the same time as me. And sometimes he would wait until some of the hype would die down. And people would still watch. That is when I learned that you don't want an audience that's catered towards just the content. You want an audience geared towards you. So just keep that in mind when you are like, when you see like the hype of everything happening. It doesn't work for everyone. Just like uploading right away doesn't work for everyone. But
the important thing is that I have to make content that, the reason this video has done so well is because my passion for what I'm talking about is so obvious.
Yes.
And if I just chase the current content, it's not going to do well.
I actually watched one of your live streams. I was quiet as hell, didn't say nothing. I was just in there just watching you play through IS. And then you started watching some of the reacts near the end of the stream.
Yeah. You saw I'm assuming you saw the pizza being delivered to my house.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was there,
Yeah. That.
and I just kind of wanted to understand uh, what if this was just a bait video or if it was actually like passion there. And you were playing Arknights already, like you you were doing what you do every single time. So I thought that was like, Tubbo, did you finally eat it? Someone in the chat.
No, I let it sit on the side for too long, and the texture of the vegan mozzarella it became so revolting that it's like, no, I'm not eating that. That's like, you could not pay me enough money to eat that. I have standards.
Oh man. All right, so I do have some questions that I wrote down that I kind of want to what stood out in the technical test, because I mean you kind of touched on this in what I asked you earlier, but what specifically stood out about the technical test that gave you that feeling of this being fresh and brand new? I've expressed this on my channel, how I felt about it, and people kind of saw it as glazing, but now I want someone else that says they felt something unique from the battle system in the previous test. I want you to just speak it in your own words.
Sure. The parts that I liked about the battle system in the technical test, I really liked the vector targeting, as I mentioned already.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the... No, I was about to say difficult, but that's probably not accurate. I really liked the punishing nature of it. Like, it didn't baby you. It was like you like there is a way that you have to do it. A better articulation of this. It forced you to respect how the game worked. You couldn't just go in and spam basic attacks. You couldn't just go in and like dodge left, right, whatever. If there was the long. Like, I think the shared SP bar is a better system than the technical test, but it still had merit in the technical test because of the long skill cooldowns. It was like you can't just cast skills whenever because you feel like it and you just want to ADHD press the button.
Right.
It forces you to, because it quickly bites you in the ass if you do that. You have to respect the way the game works, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. And I really liked that. The other thing was not to do with the battle system, but the technical test, just the environment was so much harsher. It was way more like it leaned much further into the kind of devastation,
right,
of being on a faraway moon cut off from Terra. It's that it's just it's just vibes really, but I liked the vibe of it. The environment art is significantly better now, and I wouldn't ask for them to change it back to the technical test, but the vibe that it had of you are in a intimidating and unforgiving environment was cool. I wanted that, and I think there is something to be said for that having a historical precedent, or I say historical, that has a precedent in Wuthering Waves initial concepts and initial tests, beta tests, towards eventually being kind of happy washed into being a Genshin-like.
I have a lot to say about that, but I'm gonna keep that for another. Yeah. People hate my opinions on that, so I'm gonna leave that be. The one thing about it, the test that I focused on the most was the combat. Combat in that felt, and this is just the best comparison I can give. It's not a 1-for-1, but have you ever played the Xenoblade series?
I haven't, Chronicle. But I have. No, I haven't. No, but I am sort of vaguely aware of it.
It's so obvious the inspiration was from that, because
I have heard. Yeah.
The everything from toppling, which now is no longer in the game. I'm so mad. Toppling the enemy, being able to use the lift ability and then spin them in the air so you get more time with them in the air to do more damage. Like all of that existed in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
And even though that battle system is very slow, every decision you make was very important. The combat in that game, unless you just farmed your ass off, was not forgiving. I specifically Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the one that most people sleep on. When you get to a certain point, it's just like the difficulty just spiked, and you're either grinding or you're just pushing through that shit. And I kind of felt that feeling again when I was playing Arknights Endfield, the technical test. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy the fast-paced aggressiveness of playing with the combat skills or the combo skills and everything in there. But I feel like there's a way for them to bring the best of both and kind of make some unique game that no one's seen in the gacha space before.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
The issue is that people just don't allow it that space. It's just all more dodges, more iframes, more pew pew. There's no creativity in the suggestions. It's just homogenizing it all.
And one thing that a lot of people say, I'm gonna repeat something Komi and Baki said to me yesterday. They're my mods in here. They're heavy Arknights fans, like harder than me. They're part of the reason why I even play the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll give you that story later. The thing that they said that kind of makes sense is, and just like that, my brain shattered into 1,000 pieces. Hold on.
Okay, I look forward to it.
I lost where I was going with it that fucking quick. This is why ADHD really fucking sucks. Trying to even remember where I was going with it. Fuck it. We're gonna move on to the next question. It'll come back to me.
That's all right. That's no worries.
As an Arknights player, what would you like Hypergryph to focus on now that the beta test is over? Yes, I was talking about the call yesterday, Comey. I'm trying to remember what there's one specific point you both were making.
Can you repeat the question? As an Arknights player,
what would you like Hypergryph to focus on now that the beta test is over? So,
increasing the strategic depth of it without the strategic depth of everything in the game. It's too shallow.
Do you have a way of translating that into more of a? Do you have any solutions? Like, do you have a way that you can think of that would?
Okay. So.
Okay.
One of the first things that game devs learn, as they learn to be a game dev, is that players are very good at identifying problems, not so good at identifying solutions. But nonetheless, if I was to propose a solution, it would require a lot of work. But one of the biggest reasons the combat lacks strategic depth, I think, is the fact that operators have relatively small skill sets. In Arknights, you can choose between 3. In Arknights Endfield, you have no choice. The operator is like, the kit is as you see it. You can't configure it beyond the weapon and the weapon and the gear. I think so. In the technical test, the administrator had 2 skills you could choose from. I think even that, just having 2 skills that you can choose from, whether it's a choice in the combo skill or whether it's a choice in the ultimate or a choice in the battle skill or whatever, having a choice, a configurable choice in the skill, would dramatically increase the strategic depth of the combat. I think that's something that they should explore.
So kind of catering a little, or gearing towards what we had in the original Arknights game to a degree. Like, we had 3 different skills that played 3 different, completely different ways, allowing us to optimize how we pursued our battle strategies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I think is which is a crying shame, to be honest, in the Enfield as in its current state, is that classes don't really have much meaning.
They don't. I knew you were gonna say that.
I think that they need to have more. There needs to be more merit in like having that class system in the first place, because Arknights has become really deep with the subclasses and all the modules and stuff. It's a really interesting part of the game. Enfield doesn't have any of that. It's just what is the substantive difference between a guard and a specialist?
Right. I think there's actually a way that they could fix that. I asked for diversity in there, and this was during my own push to content stuff that they could work on for the game. I kind of asked for more of a branching. How do I say this? A branching class, one that isn't just a defender, but maybe depending on the path that you go with your skills that you choose or your enhancements, you could gear them to be more of a healer. You could gear them to be more of a actual like defender, defensive, make sure there's no damage being taken. And kind of give them the different paths. I had it written down, but that was for the reporting to the devs, and I don't have it anymore. But the entire purpose of archetypes is a good word, but that's not really what I was saying. So basically this thought process was giving us like a set of skill points or something and being able to change that as many times as we wanted. And then just go towards a path that we feel is needed for the type of content that we are about to go into.
I like that idea.
That would allow one, different skills for each one of the characters. Two, it would allow our characters to be geared towards a certain type of thing that they should be doing. And it would also have an effect on the commands that are given, the AI, the way the AI would work.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you geared yours to be a healer, of course they're not going to be standing in front of the enemy trying to absorb that damage. If they're a defender, that defender is now a defender medic. So now they're trying to get out of the way and make sure they're standing in the back line so that they can heal you up. If you're a specialist, or let's say we used to have fast redeploys. You're familiar, fast redeploys in Arknights. There would be a way for them for specialists to get in and out doing what they need to do, kind of like how we have what was the name of the character? Something like the busted one from the beta. Arklight. Arklight. She's a perfect example. She gets right in there, does what she needs to do, but the problem was she would just stand there and still kind of act as if she's supposed to be in there dealing primary damage when she wasn't. So having that kind of system it would be kind of useful, but I just that would require them to kind of slow the enemies down. So I'm not really sure how they would execute that.
I think that is a really cool idea, but I will say though, it is significantly more difficult than people realize to make a sort of ally team AI behave as player expects. It's really difficult to do that.
Oh, I know. I know you're talking about others, but
yeah,
it's crazy because I'll sit here talking with like some of the not actual developers. I say developers like loosely. I actually mean like the community managers and stuff like that who report to the developers, and I'll suggest some things sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh man, do you know how much time that would take?" And I'm like, I understand, but you're trying to create a game that lasts, right? You don't want there to be like holes in the combat system, and people find ways to exploit those holes. And that's always what happens, isn't it? Like we find ways, we find ways to manipulate the system in a way where we're doing crazy freaking damage. And then the developers are like, damn, we can't patch that. So it's kind of too late because people may have bought into this specific character. So yeah, I say that to say this. I understand many developers have trouble implementing AI related systems in a way that would be reliable to the and useful to the player. But man, would a game be rewarded for implementing such a good system and improving upon it over time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And another thing that I wanted to ask before I start allowing other people to ask you questions, because that's one thing that I wanted to allow the chat to do, is there is one thing that I felt was absolutely sick in the new test, but wasn't completely capitalized on. So we have a full-on, and me and Kuki, if you're familiar with that content creator, Kukikaze,
yeah,
we talked about this in great length, about the ability to collect a whole bunch of different
combat turrets.
Huh?
Are you about to say combat turrets?
No.
Oh no.
Yeah. You actually well, I'll bring that up in a minute if I can remember.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
So later, Baki. Thanks for being here, bro. Go to sleep. Yeah, one of the things that I felt was really cool was that they had all these reports just lying around. And me and Kuki were talking about the ability to bring up missions once you collect all of them, kind of giving you like a full report of the things that have been happening in specific situations. And then the conclusion would be a mission that you would actually participate in. And I thought about that at greater length after the conversation that we had. And I think I found one really good use for it that would prove beneficial to new players that are playing the game, because a lot of older players would have a bit of this information already. That would be a fantastic way to implement old lore into the game. You find out a lot of stuff about what happened with Teresa and Theresis, and then there would be a mission here that kind of would tell you more about that storyline, maybe even letting you see things from their perspective during this game without front loading everything to you at one time. This would be a quest that you would invest your time into. What do you think about something like that? Because I saw you talking about story in your video as well, and how there's so much depth in the story and it's lacking here. What would you think of them finding ways to implement some of that extra lore before telling us or moving forward with that lore in Endfield and showing how it relates to the current situations here on Talos 2?
I think that would be fine. I think the reason I put that in the video as it is because I somewhat lack faith in because it's difficult to coordinate two writing teams, because they've said they want Arknights to go on for many more years.
Yeah,
there's lots of lore still to be written. It's very difficult to coordinate the writing team for that with the writing team for Endfield and have the lore still be coherent. So I made my feelings clear that I think it's a monumental waste and I'm disappointed. Without mentioning that it is actually like really difficult to coordinate the two. I think by doing that, like by phrasing it the way I did, the aim was to say it's not leaning enough into the Arknights lore. You have pivoted too far the other way. In the full release version, any implementation of fleshing out the connection to the Arknights universe is a positive to me. Any implementation of that, it doesn't, like, regardless of what it looks like. I would like them to do it well. Is the main thing, but it's the actual dressing of it is not as important to me as them doing it in the first place.
So you feel as if it would just be interesting just to be a part of the original game world and the stuff that they've already done within the game, while also creating these new stories on Terra. I'm adding a little bit to it just to make sure that I'm understanding it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like this, if I'm not mistaken, the Ether Gate, the portal to Terra, collapsed. I think it's 150 years before Endfield is set. That's not actually that much time.
Later Pixel. Yeah, 100 and something years isn't too long in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Like to be cut off from Terra for only around 150 years it's there's so it's not unreasonable to say why has the world of Terra seemingly just been completely separated from Terra. Like there's virtually no like even the races, Ember's file sense, the Sancta used to hold beautiful meanings and time plus. It's only 150 years. It's not like we still talk about there are things that happened like 200 or 300 years ago that we still talk about as being important to it's important to learn from history. Like why have they all just forgotten things after being cut off for only 150 years? It doesn't make any sense.
Could you give me an example of something that they forgot? Because I mean, maybe I'm just missing something.
Not that not forgotten.
I may have
but
just
like
misunderstood.
The Sancta Sarkaz, conflicts.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
aware that there's probably a resolution, and I say probably. I'm aware that there will be a resolution in the future, but they've been at war for thousands of years. It's not like they can just shake hands and be like, yeah, it's all water under the bridge. No, it's there. Why is there? Right? How is there no implications up to that? But Ember and Shahi are shown to be friends. They interact with each other. Like they in the alpha character files, they were shown to be. I don't know if they've abandoned this.
You're saying alpha? You mean
files,
technical tests?
Or yes.
Oh, okay.
In the technical test character files, they were shown. Ember and Shahi was shown to be relatively close.
Yeah.
Like, does the Sancta Sarkaz dynamic have any implications? Or it's just we don't know. There's nothing there.
I do remember. I don't remember if this was one of my mods who told me this, or if this was someone that was in the chat yesterday or the other day. But I think what I remember someone saying was something along the lines of, it may have been possible that there was a resolution. And since the game wants to go like another 10 years, they probably just haven't mentioned it and don't want to mention it in Endfield just yet without there being any validation in the actual game first. Sure. I think that would be a sufficient reason to kind of hold off on why there's no actual like lore for that just yet. I also think that having this was definitely Comey or Baki who told me this. They probably just don't want to front load a whole bunch of information. They don't want us to the new players to feel like it's too much information for new players to get into this big universe that they're trying to create.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there.
Yeah.
Over Christmas I played. So I have played like a pretty a reasonable chunk of Honkai Impact 3rd story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over Christmas, I played Honkai Star Rail, which I didn't like on its launch. I tried it and it was shit. I played it over Christmas because people kept saying the story was really good, and I was like, okay, maybe I should give it a shot. Just to be clear, it's dog shit. It's the worst game I've ever played. But the Honkai Star Rail really does not shy away from doing the most obfuscated, ridiculous, annoying lore dumps that don't make any sense and are never expanded upon. So if Honkai Star Rail, a Hoyo baby game, can do it, Arknights Endfield can do it well.
But aren't you criticizing it? So okay, so
No, oh, sorry, I'll rephrase what I said. Arknights Endfield can do it, but do it well.
Okay. You knew what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't even disagree with you because I haven't played any of the new stories and I've been told so many damn things, so I can't even disagree with you. Shit.
The main thing is, though, the main point of that part of the video is to reinforce the idea that is to reinforce the overarching theme of they are moving away from their roots.
Right. You want them to create a narrative that actually has depth within the story. You want there to be characters and plot lines that constantly have people asking questions and
Yes,
them
exactly.
answering those questions within 3-4 stories later without it feeling like it's just watered down. You want there to be some depth, pretty much.
Yeah, I want the story to have teeth. I want there to be an actual thought-provoking narrative, which there isn't.
Well, shit. It's fair to say that a lot of that video was definitely just you pushing things a lot further. That, like, it wasn't just one specific part. You were pushing things a lot further just to kind of get a reaction. Yeah, it worked.
I think that's a lot of what a lot of reactions to it have hyper focused on the specifics and have missed the point of the overall thing. A lot of it is just kind of facetious arguments that give rise to the wider point that I'm trying to make.
Right. Shit. Well, you've answered my questions. I actually feel like like I said this at the beginning. I feel like your video was greatly executed. It actually had me there thinking about what was going on. Now I think I'm gonna open the floodgates for just a little bit. Do you have my chat open?
I do, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna open the floodgates to the chat. Mods, you know what to look for and what to ban. You guys are now free to ask questions. Do not spam. He will scroll up, do his thing. Feel free to ask questions if you feel like something has not been elaborated on. Call me.
I'll send a little waves. I'll send a little wave emoji so people know what the delay is like.
Okay. So there you go. You see that, and yeah, go ahead and ask your questions. I'm leaving this to chat now. Pizza review win. Ban that motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't ban him.
I'm getting questions about the pizza, which is wicked. Thanks, guys. I can always count on you.
I'm surprised. I was kidding. Don't ban him.
It's okay. You can allow the pizzas. Ken Kaniki says, I'd like to ask exactly how the story could be fixed and connected to the original game. I'm not qualified to answer that. I'm qualified to point out what I feel is an issue. I don't necessarily have to suggest a solution to point out a problem. What the CN community suggested after watching your video. Okay, so the CN, the Bilibili response has been really encouraging generally. The only real difference between the Bilibili response and the YouTube response is one, that Bilibili is more literate, firstly, and
I like how you're blunt. I love it. I
and
freaking
two,
love
it. The second thing is that there are significantly less knee-jerk reactions to the content versus YouTube, where you have a lot of people like, no, how dare you, I want my dodgy. This is like, come on, man. Like, there's none of that in Bilibili.
I've actually, I can attest to that. I've read through a lot of these, and they're actually like on topic. Like they're focused on just giving you critiques about the things that you actually had a problem with. They are asking questions. They're giving their opinions on your opinion. I have not seen any craziness in here at all. And for some reason, this website is now acting like it does not want to load all of these different
Yeah, I've been having that as well.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
not just
what they patched, but it's bad. They need to fix this.
What,
Anyway,
how
keep
many
going.
users is it sitting at now? China is just waking up, so it's at 77,000. Nice, it's increased.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the general sentiment on Bilibili is they agree that there isn't enough strategic depth. That is a pretty resounding agreement. And there is an agreement that Hyperglyph needs to be true to their roots. That the writing is really bad, regardless of whether or not it's leans into its Arknights or not. It's the writing is just bad, and there is a almost unanimous agreement to that Genshin-like homogeneity would be a disaster. The opinions on the dodge from Bilibili are more mixed, but the two primary opinions that I've seen stated are either remove it entirely and go with something else, or remove the invincibility frames.
And I saw a lot of that in my comment section at the very beginning of the stream too. They are not not fucking with the iframes.
Yeah, there are a few comments that say I don't think the dodge is a problem. I think the dodge should be, it should have even more. It should be this, and this. Comments like that are getting significant pushback. The consensus is no, don't make the dodge more than it is, which is really encouraging.
That was one I actually want you to read. Hold on, let me go back up to this one because What is your opinion?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What is your opinion on the weapon type and how it might limit future operator designing variety by limiting the options? Can't have snipers, crossbows without adding a whole what new weapon class is an example.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they have made a very critical mistake in doing that, in just essentially copying the Genshin weapon classes, but replacing bows with guns. I didn't include any of it in the video because even though I could have, I couldn't really think of a way to articulate it in a way that would be helpful to the points I was trying to make. But yes, I do like the weapon. If I could have, maybe with some more thought put into it, I could have found a way to include that in the script. But yes, I agree. I agree. The weapon, the 5 weapon types, which is essentially great sword, the orbiters, which is like catalysts, essentially the pole arms, and guns, which is a replacement for bows. It's just the Genshin weapons.
I'm not even gonna hold you. I didn't even think about that until now when they did reading that question. The very last thing I think about when playing games, and this is why you never see me compare to Genshin or other games. The very last thing I'm thinking about is Genshin. The very last thing I'm thinking about is Wuthering Waves. The very last thing I'm thinking about is another game when I'm reviewing one game.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's very hard for me to kind of sympathize when people say stuff like that because I don't think too deeply into what someone else has done. All I know is my experience when playing that game. If it's so crazy, this obviously the same, I'll kind of just point that out and move on.
Yeah,
no, I didn't forget.
It's worrying. I think so. Even Hoyoverse figured out how much it limits what they can do in creativity and the character designs, because they immediately sort of rolled it back in Star Rail and Xenosun Zero by abstracting the weapon slot into something more, you just have this kind of ball in Xenosun Zero, for example. It's just a ball that you slot in, and that lets the characters, they can have much more unique attack animations.
Comey, sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right. I was just going to say, like Ben Bigger, for example, he's got like a massive pillar, which is really cool. Yeah.
Comey,
and Anton's jackhammer.
I know what you're talking about. I'm saying like during the review process, not during our conversations. When I'm reviewing a game, I don't pay attention to this stuff.
Would you agree if they combine the present combat but tie more MMO mechanics into the class system, like aggro for defenders, and add the effects like lifted from the alpha? Yeah, I would like to see that. That's essentially just saying, yeah, the classes should mean more. Like defenders should be trying to take damage and to reduce the pressure on their teammates. Specialists should be trying to do their specialization. Guards should be seeking to be the ones doing the basic attack strings and doing the damage. Casters should be out, away from the danger and at a distance. That's. But you can also. It would be cool, like as you said earlier, Chaotik. If there was a way to further customize that with with skill points and the skill trees and stuff like that, that would be really, really cool. I'd love to see that. But yeah,
we'll see how far that goes. That's a lot of work. Like they did a lot in a year, so I don't know what they're capable of, but that's a lot of work.
Enfield is Hypergriff sandbox to test so many stuff. With how many shits we see in AK after 5 years, how viable will we get a total war? What is a total war mode?
A total war mode. No idea. No idea.
I'll wait and see if he clarifies it.
Yeah.
Let me scroll up a bit. There's been a lot of questions.
RTS, real-time strategy, like StarCraft.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, so it was interesting actually. Before we saw anything about the technical test, before it even the Chinese one was like months before the global one. My speculation was that Enfield would try to lean into being like StarCraft because Hypergriff had sponsored a StarCraft tournament in China. I was wrong about that, but I still think there is room in the game to have like a mode like that. Like we have really experimental modes in Arknights, like reclamation algorithm and stuff like that. I think there is absolutely room for an RTS.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
In Enfield,
that game mode was dog shit. I'm sorry.
RA.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so at first. I thought so at first too. RA is really, really unfriendly at first. It's really unintuitive and it doesn't do a good job of explaining what it wants from you at all. When you are able to get past that barrier of what it's asking of you, it's really, really good.
Okay.
It's got
Sell
a lot
me
of
on
depth
it.
to it.
Okay. So if you were gonna explain what I don't understand about RA, how would you explain it to me? Because to my understanding, it just looks like a platformer with different routes, and depending on the route that you're going, you can unlock other routes to go fight different enemies. So what is there that makes this oh shit, no, I don't mean regular Arknights. No, sorry.
Oh.
I'm talking about reclamation algorithm or whatever the hell that was in Enfield. Yeah, sorry, chat. Thank you for correcting me, because
I'm talking about reclamation algorithm in regular Arknights.
Algorithmic something. Sorry.
Algorithmic memories is that's not got any depth to it at all.
Yeah,
it's not that good.
I was literally thinking in my head, what did I miss? What?
No.
Okay, algorithmic memories.
Is not
Thank
very
you.
Interesting. It's like the sort of roguelike element of it is really kind of just really basic and doesn't actually it's not really a roguelike at all.
Okay. Whew, I was literally did chats on me about this. What? I was not sure.
I
want to play RA.
That's clarifying.
Okay. I keep saying this, and chat's gonna have to hold me accountable. But
you mentioned platforming. I was like, wait, what?
I keep on saying I want to do RA. I just haven't had time on a stream to just do and learn RA, I get shitted on when I play that game mode within the first like when they start first coming towards your base. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you see what I mean? It's really unforgiving, and that's really cool. It does end up filtering a lot of people because RA is probably, I say probably, it's by far the least played mode within Arknights, but it's really in depth. There's a lot to it, and Hypergryph is to be entirely to their credit, Hypergryph is very much kind of they're trying to, they really want RA to succeed. They're not saying, oh, people aren't engaging with this, let's just give up on it. They really want it to succeed.
Wait, hold on. It just came back to me what I was gonna say earlier. One of the game modes that I would like to see in Arknights Endfield would be something as punishing as RA. That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
I'm trying to capitalize on this moment while my brain's still working. Having a game mode that would utilize the base in a way that would punish you, not only give you like ample rewards for you chopping down trees, doing all this, that would be so fucking cool. Like the punishment of having your base actually like pushed upon and you having to defend it with the turrets. It's like, bro.
Yeah. There is huge. I got a couple of comments on the video actually that were like, oh, I kind of wanted Enfield to be like Recollection Algorithm but in 3D. There is absolutely space for an endgame mode that looks a bit like looks kind of like Reclamation Algorithm. I think I would love to see that in Enfield.
I can even see them doing some.
A few people. Oh, sorry, go on.
No. Keep on going. I'm trying to
say, yeah, there are people that are saying that SSS is the least played mode rather than RA. I would disagree because SSS is a farm and you get for the first time clears you get module blocks, 10 module blocks for it, and whereas with RA you just you farm glow sticks to get the points, and like that's what people do if they don't want to play it. I don't know. Maybe they're bars.
I'm gonna give you like I'm gonna let this vibe for like 2 more minutes unless someone asks like a good question, and then we can just like stop.
To be fair, there's a lot of questions. I haven't seen them all. Let me see. To what extent do you think the game should take to prevent FOMO? I don't know, man. It's a gacha game. They're gonna be like they have to cash in on FOMO to some extent. I think it'll be. Arknights has so many more characters that it can afford to be a bit less FOMO, but I think Enfield will be a bit more FOMO than Arknights is, but I think it will be the least FOMO-y of the major 3D gacha games. I tried AK for 3 months before I quit because tower defense is never my thing, let alone the lore. Comes to Enfield where it has different vibes similar to JRPG, and how people were overglazing the game as game first, gacha second, rather than another live service with gacha monetized game. What makes you so sure this game has the potential to redefine gacha gaming? Because every single major gacha game so far has been action focused. This one has the potential because absolutely everyone is glazing the quality of the game, right?
Including me.
Well, yeah. Like it looks beautiful. The character model's great. Also, yeah, etc. Yada yada. It looks amazing. It's just really, you can tell it's a really quality product. It's not an action game. Well, it wasn't. It's maybe
it's not action focused.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's not action focused.
It immediately, like very quickly, kind of throws the base at you. It's like, oh, we have to lay all these transport. Oh, this is Factoria. Oh shit, it's completely different to the other ones, and I want it to stay that way. And if it stays that way and is its own thing, it's a unique thing with its own identity, and it succeeds, that tells other developers that they can do the same and they don't have to just copy what's already succeeded.
Right.
That's why I want Enfield to succeed on its own merit so much, instead of just succeeding because it did what something else did. That's why I think it has the potential to redefine gacha gaming. I saw so much potential in the technical test to do that. And
Yeah.
I just think it's being squandered.
We share that sentiment. They the one thing that was just very different about the whole game is they were doing things that other games kind of feel like they were scared to do, which was just be original. I do understand that, yes, their originality is kind of lacking these days. It did get its ideas from something, but in terms of a gacha game, it felt very, very unique. And this test, especially when going into the very beginning of the test, when you're from the moment you select your character and walk in, you just see nothing but risky things that you just shouldn't do in gachas. For example, they leaned on so much into the Arknights lore in that whole beginning sequence. Nobody knows what's going on there but the Arknights players. Nobody. That's risky in itself.
Yeah, I want them to take. Like I don't want them to I'm not going to be so unreasonable as to say no. You should make this really dark and depressing game that's really punishing, because that's obviously not going to succeed. People will drop it. But I want them to find a balance between making the Dark Souls of gacha games and making something that will appeal to enough people to sustain its success.
Read the one from DJ.
The one from DJ.
From DJ.
So if there are many people who actually are on board with the game's direction moving into actionish rather than what you envisioned, how optimistic are you now after that video?
Be honest. This is definitely the right community for honesty, because I am. Yeah.
My honest opinion is, I am still pessimistic, but I'm not as pessimistic. The response, the response from YouTube was really cool. That blew me away. But the response from the Chinese community, which, if we're being honest, is the only community that Hypergryph really listens to. The response from the Chinese community being largely in agreement was really, really, really encouraging. I don't know if it will change anything. If it does, I would be absolutely elated, to put it lightly. But I remain pessimistic because, first and foremost, it's not like, it's not like Hypergryph is benevolent. They are seeking, they are making a gacha game. They made a gacha game. They are making another gacha game. That's what they do. And so they are seeking money, first and foremost. But that's a cynical way of looking at it.
I also just remembered the thing that I said. Comey and Baki were harping on in a conversation I had with them. I was talking about the fact that Hypergryph doesn't really fold when it comes to their vision for a game. Comey is more confident in this than I am, because I just kind of have seen enough of developers kind of catering towards an audience. But they both kind of said that if any company is going to stay to their vision, it would be Hypergryph. You don't really have a record of them folding, especially with Ex-Astris being one of the games that they released. A very mobile focused turn-based action game that is sold for $9.99 and has no microtransactions. It's just a good game with a beginning and an end. So if any you have any reason to believe in their ability to focus on the right things for their game,
Yes.
that should be one. I just wanted to make sure I said that.
I'm gonna bounce off that to take what you said, and also
Getting a response, homie.
said, yeah, another response that says, "Did you read the article? Hypergryphs themselves mentioned they have and sticks to their own visions." I care much more about actions than words. You know, words are cool, but if you don't act on it, what's the point? Hypergryph has shown that they are willing to take risks and be experimental and iterate, which is good. Of all the developers of major gacha games that have been successful and sustained revenue, Hypergryph is the one I trust the most. But that doesn't mean I trust them blindly. It is dangerous to trust a for-profit company blindly to commit to a vision. It is dangerous to do that, and I take great issue with people saying just let them cook and stuff, and things in that line of thinking, because that's dangerous. If we let them cook for a year and it's gone in the wrong direction. So I think, you know, yes, let them cook to an extent. They'll have their vision. They need to be able to see that people are passionate about the game and want it to stay true to its vision and want it to stay true to their roots. If no one says anything because they just blindly trust in Hypergryph, they will make the wrong decisions.
I said that yesterday. All right, so, and that's where I'm gonna cut this off. Before we end the stream, I want to go ahead and thank you for not only trusting me to bring you over here and talk with me about this, but for sharing your insight and why you made the video and continuous be willing to share your perspective with a community you're unfamiliar with. A lot of people here know who you are, but a lot of them don't. So sometimes that may that may be a reason for people to not want to hop on a podcast and speak to people. You don't know people's intentions. So I thank you for trusting me with that. I think you're doing a great job with your video. I think if you keep on making great content, your channel will speak for itself. Keep up the hard work. I have
received a lot of DMs encouraging me to, oh dude, if you keep making content like that, you're gonna like blow up. That was more than a month of effort. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna follow up, but I'll try for sure.
Do you know who Braxphone is?
Yes, I know of him. I haven't watched much of his content, but yeah.
All right, if you do know who he is, we were talking about your video in a Discord. You're like me in a group of friends. We all really thought your video was just top tier. So, yo, keep up the hard work. If you need anything from me, whether it's just a talk or you just kind of need some advice or whatever, hit me up. I'm more than open to kind of just give you my opinion on something. It won't always be right, but I do what I can for people. So, yo, keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Really appreciate it.
And I'm going to end the stream here, chat. Thank you guys for coming through. Make sure you visit his Twitter page, or his Twitch page and his YouTube channel. I'm saying it now. He's going to be one of the great channels for Endfield when it drops. He's definitely going to put in some of the hard work that we're expecting for some creators. So make sure you follow him on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to this. After the stream is over, I'm going to pin it to the video so that you guys can go to both his Twitch and his YouTube channel. Subscribe. Let him know I sent you. And you all have a wonderful day. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Stay chaotic. Love you guys. Peace out.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, brother.